All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 65 of Morphy's Games of Chess. We got the six-match game held in March of 1859. Morphy has the white pieces, Mongredien has black. Now, this game, I know I say it often, oh, this is a good one, but this one, I gotta admit, it really shows Morphy's style and some very interesting positions that could have happened. All right, well, so we'll get into it. Let's go. Morphy with white launches the e-pawn. Shredder jumps in, and guess what? That's exactly what Mongredien played. He played e5. Okay, he's got the analysis going over here. Let's make sure. Yes. Okay, and here comes the knight for Morphy, attacking the e5 pawn. Very common. Yes. Shredder recommends this. Most common move, probably the best move. Knight c6, develop a piece and defend. But here we go. Here, Augustus Mongredien plays d5, irregular defense. The queen-pawn counter gambit in the king-knight's opening. It has nothing to recommend it. Okay, well, look at Shredder going after the e5 pawn. Okay, now Morphy takes on d5. He takes on d5. This, I guess, this is playable. He's going right, hitting, pressuring f7. Let's see what happens. If he takes here, all right, and support that knight. You're getting ready to bring the bishops out. Dark square bishop, light square bishop are ready to go for white. Black also has his bishops ready to go, but he brings the knight to d7. Queen comes out attacking the weak f7 point. The queen defends. Here comes the bishop. Oh, they're piling up. They're piling up. Wait. He likes that. Now, I didn't look at this. I didn't look at this earlier. All right, so he's going to take out the knight. So he can, because you got three. Look at that. You got three on it, right? You got three on that. So if you attack the queen, look at this. You go in with the check. Black is on the white queen, so he figures he'll sack his own queen, right? All right. But then he gets the rook. There you go. He wins the exchange in a roundabout way, right? Well, let's see what's going on here. He's got the two bishops still, right? But you won the rook, so you're up the exchange. Once he captures, let's see, once he captures that knight, all right, you go here. He defends it. He's got time to grab that knight. So he defends the e4 pawn. White develops, right? You know, it's pretty close because actually, let's see, once he gets that knight, right, he's got a bishop and a knight for a rook, and then the pawns, these h pawns for black are pretty silly. They're busted up. The e pawn is isolated. You know, look at the evaluation. It's pretty much even. The pawns, 6 for black, you got 7 for white. Look, he doesn't even castle. He moves his king up. He finally recaptures. There you go. So he's got a knight and bishop for a rook. And black's pawns are busted up though. So this is a game. Who knows where it goes from here? Pretty crazy though, right? But it could just one of thousands of ways it could go, right? When the knight takes on e5. The knight takes on e5. There you go. Now he likes bringing the other knight out. And, you know, okay, there he is. Again, he likes this. If you go right away for f7, what does he do? He comes after your knight. Ah, okay, come see. I think you see that in some other openings, right? The queen comes out, forking the knight. And over here, right? You play this one. He takes. He's going to get the h2 pawn, perhaps. Goes there first. All right, so here you go. I mean, you got a real crazy one going. Either way, right? White's up a little bit here, but who knows? Pretty crazy. So d5, right, for black. Shredder kind of likes taking here, but I'll tell you what, Morphy. All right, look at it now. What's the evaluation? I think Shredder does what Morphy wants to do. Or I should say, Shredder wants to do what Morphy did. There you go. Morphy taking on d5. Let's get into the game. It will be here forever, right? Okay. Sure enough, just like Shredder, he pushes here. I guess if he takes, you know, it's kind of like a, you know, a Scandinavian or center counter defense, right? Similar. The two knights around. He moves his. You knock the black queen around a little bit. You have some fun, right? You get a discovery. There you go. You develop a piece. Get ready for a discovery. For instance, if he brings the bishop here, right? Boom. You take him right out. He can't even recapture your knight because your queen's hanging. See that? So you can't do stuff like that. You gotta watch out for the traps. See? Okay. Move him over here. You're pinning the c3 knight. At least doing something. Queen's coming up. Maybe he's gonna go long. Maybe not. Oh, look at this. Discovered check. Look at that. Discovered check. He goes in. He can't bring this guy to block because you take. You win a pawn with check, right? So you don't want to do that. So look at this. He loses castling right. Alright. This doesn't really do anything for now. Because if he takes, look, if you take, folks, he wins the rook, right? But look, if you do something dumb like h6, right? First you hit the queen out of there. Because he can't stay anywhere. The two knights get him out off the A file. If he goes back here, we could easily, oh, now the knight defends the rook. So there you go. We win the bishop. So it is being threatened. A3 is threatening that bishop, even though the A3 pawn is pinned. Knight to B3 throws the monkey wrench in there. So he'd have to move this guy again. The castle long. Look at the lead in development, folks. It's worth a pawn at this point, according to the engine. He goes here. Do you bust up those pawns? Maybe not. You go for the rook. Now you're threatening knight takes on c6, and then queen takes bishop on e7. He's got to go back to protect. So it looks like, you know, white's got some advantage here. He's going after c7. And it's a game, folks. You know, it is a fight, but look at the advantage that white has now. Okay? Material even. He's got a lead in development. He owns the E file. Get the queen and rook on there. The black king he can't castle. Awkward position for the king rook on h8. He's got to get into this game. Black's gonna have to castle by hand. So got a clear edge for white here at that point. So it's just one way he could go again. All right. If he after the knight, he could come back. He could maybe come here. You know, this is similar to a center counter for white, but with reverse colors. Right? Comes the bishop. All right, the challenge. Develop the queen. He takes you. You take him. You develop your queen. Your queen's down in the battlefield now, right? Opposed to trading on e6. So there you go. Here you get another example of what could happen, right? A little example. He wants to trade. He wants to trade the queen, slow the game down. There he gets the castle long in this one. All right, he's on f7. So I guess he figures it's worth a pawn to be able to castle. There you go. Look. All right, you can win the pawn back. You can. All right, he doesn't do many things. So we're just scratching the surface. You know how it is. So again, white's up a little, but it's a playable position for black. Lots of mistakes can be made, right? All right. So anyway, what happens is, like Shredder recommends, Mongredient pushes that e pawn, hitting the knight. The knight leaps to. Oh no, not yet. He pins the pawn. So he pins him with the queen, and then black unpins the pawn. Now the knight goes to d4, right? So we got the queens on the e file, right? Now, again, here you got Shredder recommending it. The old masters recommending the same move. They knew what was going on, folks. They knew the deal. Knight to f6 was the better move for black. What does Mongredient play? He comes up and he attacks the knight with the queen. So he's moving the queen again, folks. You got to count how many times black moves his queen. All right, the knight leaping to b5, aggressive. Now he's hitting, putting pressure on c7, threatening a fork. Now the queen's got it covered for now, but just watch how this theme plays through every move. Okay, it's very interesting. Now, here you go. You got a6 being recommended. Get that guy out of there now. Now you could play this in between move, attacking the queen, right? He can't take en passant because then he just hangs the queen, right? All right, simple enough. So on this, he has to move the queen. You're not going to trade knight for queen, right? Okay, dummy up. The jokes. I know the jokes come early in this one. Now, okay, so he wants to stay on here. He can't go here. He can't go here because of the white bishop, right? He can't stay here because of those white pawns. He can't stay on this diagonal, but he's got to stop the knight fork. All right, so he can go to e7. There you go. So now, basically, he does boot the knight back. Okay, to c3. There's no tricks. There's nothing else going on. I mean, you could do this. It just would take, right? Now we're going to see that idea coming up. This is why this is so interesting to me. The amazing tactics that are involved. But anyway, okay. At this point, a6 would work. And it would knock the knight back. Now that's the king knight traveled all the way to the queen side to c3. And now this guy, all right, he protects that because he's got two on it. White's got the knight and the queen on it. Okay. And now this guy, you know, he wants to leap there naturally, but his brother's blocking him out. So he's going to have to go there, I guess, right? Now we'll see similar. But a6, just to mention, a6, what do we got here? White's still up a pawn, right? It's 7 to 8. Okay, so white keeps that pawn for now, and he starts chiseling away at the center here. Okay, now look at that. He takes, the pawns look pretty ugly for white on the king side. But anyway, all right, so now it's a game, right? He slows it down, he trades, he's up the extra pawn, I guess he feels, right? Takes the open G file. All right, so there you go. It's a different game. If he plays this, you get that bishop coming in on this diagonal, keeping him from castling, maybe. I don't know. Right? The dark squares, for one, become very weak around the enemy king. But he still has his dark square bishop. All right, so it's a whole different game. A6 should have been played. If it was going to be played, it should have been played now. Okay, that's the whole point of what we just looked at. All right, a6, boot that knight now while you still can. Here's what he does, though. My ingredient brings out the bishop to d6. I guess he feels that c7 is a focal point, that knight threatening that c7 fork of the king and rook. So he protects it with his bishop because he feels like, you know, if the queen is knocked off this diagonal, that the bishop has it covered, right? Makes sense, okay? So look at what does Morphy do? Well, he follows through with that d4 move. Now, this is before the a6 pawn even hit the knight, right? Now, okay, the bishop is also protecting the queen, so he can take en passant, right? Then he takes, let's see, they trade, okay? They trade the queens, and look at this. Now, white takes back, right? And he's up a pawn, folks. And now the queens are off, so that pawn can be a lot bigger, worth more. Look, because the attacks are slow. It slows down without the queen, right? He can even look at this. He trades. Okay, he forces the trade, matter of fact, because again, where's that bishop going to go? Look at the position. He can't even go anywhere after the knight to f6. And he wouldn't want to move off this diagonal or he gets forked, right? He loses the exchange. So he's moved back. All right, white is going to get booted. He feels he'll probably get booted with the 8 pawn. So look at this. He grabs the bishop here, folks. So now he's up a pawn. All right, after the recapture, now white has to protect his d5 pawn because the knight's on it, right? So there you go. He's up a pawn. He's got the bishop here. Where's black's compensation for that, right? I don't see it, folks. Now it's almost +2 for white, right? Got the bishop here and the extra pawn, okay? Not to mention this guy, this D6, I can't highlight the D6 pawn for black. He's isolated, folks. It's not an open file, but it is isolated. Could be a weakness in the end game. He'll chisel away. That makes sense, right? He'll chisel away at the try to win that D5 pawn. Okay, so anyway, all right. It's a game, but you know, black is behind the 8 ball there. I think he's down almost 2, right? So that's just one way it could go, and that's if you know, on the Morphy's D4. If black was to take en passant, doesn't really help him much. Okay, so that's the whole point to that. So what does he do? Well, on the D4 pawn, you see Shredder, queen to E7. That's what Augustus does. Okay, he brings his queen back to E7. Again, supporting, he's protecting C7, right? Now, if, look at this, you might be asking yourselves, right? What if he takes here? What if he takes on D5? Well, here, the old master's right. If queen takes D5, now they give C4. They give C4, and again, folks, look at what is happening. Okay, so he's got to protect E4, right? Okay, let's say he goes to C6. Well, then you simply knock him out of there, right? He moves. He's gonna lose. He's gonna lose the pawn. He's gonna lose the pawn on E4 with check, no less, right? I mean, there you go. He takes with check. He loses the pawn. Now he's down a pawn. And look at this. You can even hit the tempo on the black queen. All right, he blocks. All right, what's going on here? Oh, he's threatening. Look, the C7 point, right? He takes here. We take with check. He moves. We win the rook. He doesn't even grab the bishop over here. Now that's letting the engine do it quick. Might be better for white, but look at this. Even in this position now, okay. He comes up here. The queen can't come down because the white queen on E5. Watch out, folks. See that? You can't come down with a nice check. You lose the game instantly. All right, so here you go. He checks from over here. All right. King moves over. Here comes the bishop. Unlike with a white queen, king is moving over here now to B3, but I guess is he safe over here? It can't be a check because the white knight, right? So okay, all right, maybe he's safe on B3. A little awkward. Black's got those 2 bishops, but he's down the exchange, correct? I think that's this, or is he up a whole rook? Wait a minute, 4 minor pieces. No, he's up the exchange, right? So at this point, you got a little awkwardness for that white knight is trapped too. The king is he's in an awkward spot, but the black king lost his castling rights also. So a little further, you take it a little further. Get that knight out, get your pieces out. All right. There we go. We're gonna try to save the white knight, but it's a step too late, I guess, right? All right, so sneaks in here. All right, they trade. He decides to trade. Bucks those pawns up. Black's got the bishop here though, but white's up the exchange, correct? Right? Or has he got 2? He's got a knight and a bishop for. He's got the knight and the dark square bishop for a rook. So there you go. Look, he threatens this. It's a game, you know. It's a fight. This one's still a fight. Look at this. What's he do here, right? The dark square bishop moves. He loses the light square bishop. Craziness, right? Crazy. Look at this. Holy smokes. We got pieces trading off. Look at this. All right. So now you got the 2 knights. You can see you get the 2, or still a knight and a bishop for the rook, right? It could be crazy. Who knows? This who's going to carry this out all the way through, right? This could be just one of many ways. That pawn on d6 could be black's undoing. But anyway, alright, we really went deep into the weeds, right? It's still close, folks. Could be a draw here. It's a half a pawn valuation. Alright, so, okay. Who knows? So we go all the way back. How do we even get to this? I don't even remember, but okay. Yeah, at this point, right? We want, really, it all stems from this. Look, we take over here. Okay, with check, blocked, maybe moving the king's better. Who knows? But you win at this stage right here. Look at white. He's up 2, so it's probably better at this. What we went into, yeah, we made the moves quick. Okay, to get a feel. But at this stage, white just won that e pawn for nothing. Right? Black gets nothing for it. Okay. So, there you go. I mean, he fought on. Shredder came up with some good moves for black to keep him in it, to reduce this edge. But right here, it's over 1.5 for white. Okay, so I don't see any compensation, really. So now, okay, that's if he takes, right, pawn. If he goes back, you hit him, and he loses the e-pawn, right? What if he goes over here? Shredder's looking at this now, right? He goes there. Well, now let's see. You hit you got to remember that C7 point, right? Look at this. Now the bishop's got nowhere to go on this diagonal, right? He can't even go here. Or can he? Wait, can he go there? Because if you trade, the queen takes back and he's covering C7. But I guess there's a problem with it, right? Because now you're going to boot the queen, right? He tries to stay on, he loses the pawn. He loses. I forgot that e4 pawn, right? He can't protect this guy and this at the same time, right? At this stage now, he can't do it. Impossible. So when, like, if he even was here, you take with check. All right, trade him off, and then there you go. Boom, you lose the black loses the bishop now. And he's still focusing on the C7 point. Look at that. He wins the pawn. Insult to injury. Alright, so anyway. Okay. So on this, the bishop can go nowhere. He can't go here. Doesn't work. If he backs off, it's what we've been talking about. Knight fork, right? He's at least up the exchange after he takes the rook, right? And if he could get his knight out, he'll be up a full rook. Alright, so anyway. He's got to keep the bishop there and hope, look, he can knock you attack the bishop, I attack your knight. Alright, fine, I take your bishop, he takes the knight, I win the pawn here, and now I got a pawn on the 7th over there. Whether I can hold it, who knows, but look at look, I win this guy now. I win that guy, threatening to trade queens, which I can do. I'm up, right? I'm up over 2.5. I got a 2.5 edge here, according to Shredder. Right, so you got 5 black pawns versus white's 7. White's got the bishop here also. Look at that. Okay, and that pawn on the 7th on C7. You know that could be dangerous. All right, so white's clearly winning there. Queen taking on D5, C4. Queen to F5 doesn't work because of this one. Funny, you're attacking. The 2 pawns are on the dark squares. If he goes here, the 2 pawns are on the light squares. You see, various attacks. All right, now he likes to go there. You win that. You win the e pawn. Remember, you're winning the e pawn for nothing. All right, so okay, so he can't take. He can't take on D5. Now here's what's funny. The old masters give their C4 recommendation, but Shredder likes the other knight coming out. Right? Let's see the similar ideas here. Look, all right, he moves there, right? All right, so now we win the e pawn with the knight, and we're threatening a double check, right? Just make a move, right? Let's say you're not thinking, you're on autopilot, knight F6, right? Well, you just take here, double check. Look, the queen checks down the open e file along with the knight. When the knight takes the bishop with check also. It's a double check. You can't You can't stop a double check. The king's got to move on a double check. There's no way you could block it. Impossible. All right, so king over, right? Now look at this. You win the bishop too. Now he can't go here. You lose. Look, you lose the exchange. You lose the rook. I don't even lose the exchange. You lose the rook. Oh, you lose the. I mean, heck. Look at this. He's got nowhere to go, right? He can only go to d7. You don't grab the rook. Look, you win the queen. You win the queen, folks. Now the only square to go to now, really the only thing to do is to resign. But okay, the only square to go to is d8, because he takes it. At least he could take back, right? Look at this. If he goes to the e file, right? You take the queen with check. Queen down on e2. Discovered check now, not double check. Discovered check. And now you're grabbing the queen for free. I mean, oh, forget it. This is over. Look at this. Look at this, folks. Let's follow it through, right? There you go now. There you go. The bishop gets in the fight. He blocks. You take, right? Knight just defending. There you go. Look at this. Look at this. Look. Unbelievable. Beautiful, right? Oh, boy. The moves just come. They come naturally when you're this far behind. You know, when Black made huge mistakes here. When you see something like this happen, okay, you can't ignore it. You can't ignore the threat of a double check. The knight threatening to take the bishop, right? Okay, so you at least block him. Okay, so now we win that bishop. We got the bishop here now, and we're up a pawn once again, right? Now look at this. He takes back. We attack that weak pawn on d6. Look, he's gonna just give it to us. Get castled. There you go. Look. Now we're threatening the knight on e7. We gotta watch for the pin of our queen. But look at this. Look at this move coming in. Knight attacking the rooks. So you get that fork. In the long run, you get the fork. You get this guy. All right. So there was no threat of the pin of the white queen to the white king. Look at this, right? Unbelievable. All right. d5. What's this about? What is this even about? He takes there. Look at this. Oh, he knew he was going to capture. Look at this. The knight, right? The knight's pinned now. If he moves, it's not going to be made, but he wins the queen, right? And he wins the bishop. And he wins the game. All right, so look at this. It's unbelievable. Throwing the pawn up. The d pawn's just going on the aggressive. Unbelievable. Look at that, huh? Alright, so anyway, there's another crazy line. White's clearly up. Clearly up, okay? Alright, he gets that e-pawn. Big deal. Alright. So we're up, we're up in the exchange. And we got, what do we got? An extra pawn? Is that what it is? Yep. Alright, so there you go, right? 2 rooks, the 1, and bishop, light square bishop. Yeah, knight for rook. And we're up a pawn, okay? Again, a clear edge for white. It's a 1 game, folks. All right, now, so this is the knight coming out. You know, queen c6, no good, right? You just really, you chew them up. You're attacking. You're focusing on that d6 pawn there now. All right, so let's see, knight coming out. He goes here. All right, again we take. We're threatening to take that bishop. Get the bishop here, I guess. He's gotta protect. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's just say, again, autopilot, right? Knight f6. You take the bishop, who's defending where, folks? He's defending c7. Now he could capture. He's not going to take. He can't even take with the queen. It's pinned. So he's got to take with the pawn. Then you get this, folks. You're not forking the rook, and well, you are forking the rook and king, but you're also forking the king and queen. You win the queen this way. Look at this, right? Unbelievable. So it's all over. It's all over. All right. So white's up +9. Right? You win the queen. All right. So this is no good. You know, you can't ignore. You can't be on autopilot. Knight f6, no good. So that's why knight to a6 over here to protect, again, c7 fork, right? Now look at this. He hits him here. Look at this. Now if he takes, let's look at the craziness. Again, what does it do, folks? It diverts the queen off the e-file. Now we got the double checks. But this time you don't even have to go win the bishop. Look at this. You win the game. Knight to f6. The king has only 2 spots. Double check. He can't. Black cannot block this. He's only got 2 moves, folks. He could go to d8 or he could go to f8. Either way, the queen comes down and it's mate. You see that? That's nuts, right? I mean, how often you see this? If he goes here, same thing. Look, the knight supports. The knight on f6 supports the queen coming right in. Right into the black bed, right? And slaughtering the king. Unbelievable, right? All right, so that pawn can't be taken. It's poison, right? So it's like trying to divert the black queen. So okay, he goes back. Now we take. Look at this. We take here. Check. All right. He can't take with the queen. It's pinned, folks. The queen's on the e-file. They're pinned to one another, right, to their kings. All right, so the only way take back is with the pawn. And now look at this guy leaping right in the face. Right in the face of the black queen. Giving check. All right, he's got to move, right? And there you go. And here we protect, I guess we protect this guy. What a knight, right? He's up there on d6. Okay. Oh, we're threatening, what are we threatening? Let's do something silly. Oh, we castle long. Black will probably move that queen. Alright, so it's clearly up. We make a better move for black after bishop here. Maybe this coming up. What was this about? Alright, it's pinned, that's why. Okay, queen's at pinned. The white queen is still pinned. He can't take over here. He has to take. All right. Anyway, but you know, white's doing better here. Look, it's plus. He's up +3, right? So he's got the bishop here. He's got 2 extra pawns, folks. That's huge. And that d pawn. This d pawn on d5 will be a protected pass pawn. We could support that with the c pawn. That pawn's going in, folks, on the d file, right? He could run right up the board. All right. So anyway, that's clearly, you know, this is no good for after knight. After the line is if queen takes. Again, the old masters recommended c4, but it looks like the knight's even more powerful here, right? We looked at it. Where else could he go? Right? Didn't we look at this? Yeah, we win this set in the double check, right? So there you go. I mean, at this point, black cannot take that pawn. So amazingly, Morphy's d4 hits the queen. If he takes here, he loses, right? He's down a pawn. White has the bishop here. If he can't even take on d5, right? So he comes back. Augustus moves the queen back to e7. All right. Now, look at this. Okay. We got, now the pawn comes up the board, right? Now, just to show you if you're falling asleep, let's say the knight comes out, right? Uh-oh. What happened to your bishop, folks? Where does it go, right? There's no safe spaces for that bishop. Okay? I guess he'd win 2 pawns for it. He'd take here. Oh, he'd take this one. All right. And, you know, he takes, we take back. Now we're hitting that e-pawn, right? We're hitting that e-pawn. And he decided to do the castle here. Yeah, if we take now, that could be a mistake because now our knight gets pinned. See that? You got to watch those. See, that's a good move by Shredder here as black. Instead of worrying about that pawn, I mean, you could develop a piece. This is a good move, I guess, too. We didn't really look at the analysis. But instead of pushing pawns like this, opening your king side up, you ignore the threat. Because it's not really a threat. And you let your opponent step into it, you know? Let him make the mistake. Oh, look, he hung his D pawn, right? I mean, he hung his E pawn. No, if he takes again, you end up losing your piece. See? Boom, you lose that guy. All right, he gets the check in. Big deal. Yeah, look at this. You protect. Yeah, he loses. See? All right. So anyway, okay. So now, let's go back. At this point, where were we? Like after Black Castles, you don't have to take that pawn. You're up. You're still up. Let's see. Bishop here attacking C7 again. Now you're threatening knight D5, right? Yeah, there you go. Knight D5 coming right in. I guess he doesn't care about the C pawn. He'd rather get his pieces out. Look, you go here, right? Now you can take. He's blocking the E file. Now you can take. I guess this allows him to take. He has time. Okay, so anyway, you know, it's a game, but White's clearly winning, right? He's up a piece, folks. He's up a piece. That's what it is. I'm looking at the pawn so much, 6-6, but White has the dark square bishop still. All right, so he's winning that one. Yeah, he had to. Oh, that's right. He had to sack it. He sacked that bishop. That's what we were looking at for 2 pawns. And it turns out White was up a pawn, and then if he won that E4 pawn, gets those 2 pawns back. Now he's up the bishop. All right. So anyway, you see what's happening here. This talking about autopilot. Knight F6. You got this threat. That's Morphy's threat, right? And he can't move this guy. You remember, he can't move. Look, he's got no safe spaces here. Look, he can't even. Now he can't go back because the queen's there. So he'd have to give him up for 2 pawns. All right, so that's the threat. Okay, C4 by Morphy. The threat is C5. So what does Mongredien do? He ends up giving the check, like Shredder sees. Makes sense, right? This guy's in trouble now. He's going to be smothered over there on D6. All right, Morphy developing the bishop, attacking this guy. So what does Mongredien do? He takes with check. Morphy takes back with the knight, right? Developing pieces, folks. Look at what's going on. I mean, slowly. Morphy has now 3 pieces developed to Mongredien's queen on E7, right? Plus, he's got all his pawns still. He's got 8 pawns on the board. Mongredien's only got 7. So Morphy has a pawn, and he's got 2 knights developed. And all right, it's Black's move. You could bring. Let me see. Does he bring this guy out? I don't think so. I mean, but let's just say if he brings the knight out, okay, he's protecting his E pawn. I guess. Let's see. What does he do there? After the bishop takes check, knight takes bishop. Right here we go. Knight takes bishop. All right. He doesn't bring this out. You know what he does, folks? He hits the knight now. He hits the knight now at A6. Okay, he doesn't like that knight. He says, get this knight out of here. How long has he been lingering? He's lingering, attacking my C7. He's threatening this fork. Get this guy out of here. You can't blame the guy, right? Now, all right, Shredder recommends this. Okay, we'll get into that in a second. Now, this is where it gets interesting, folks. This is some beautiful stuff, right? It's worth going over this game because it's I love it. You gotta love the whole theme of this knight on B5, threatening that C7 focal point, right? That fork. All right, amazing what can be done. For instance, first you attack the queen. Attack that queen. Okay, crazy enough. Now you divert this guy over here. Okay, you can't look again. You're not gonna, folks, the jokes. Well, you're not gonna trade your queen for the knight, right? You're so frustrated by that knight on B5 attacking your C7, threatening that fork. Hey, give me that knight. I want him so bad. Oops, I forgot. That pawn eats your queen up, right? The jokes. There you go. The one-liners, right, folks? All right. So he can't do that. Come on. Let's dummy up. He's got to take on d6. Okay, so now get it. Does he retreat? Does he retreat now? No, folks. He takes this pawn. You're taking, now this is the old masters giving this analysis. You gotta love it. No computers, right? They're working it out, folks. Unbelievable. Okay, so now the knight takes the pawn. Now you figure, all right, here you go. Give me this knight. He's crazy. He hung the knight over here. He hung him, folks. I'm winning. I'm winning. Black figures, all right. He's winning now, right? Well, look at this again. The Shredder sees it. Look at the knight. The other one, that is. Look at this guy coming in now. Right in the queen's face once again, slapping her around, right? So get out of here. He throws the check right in with his hoof. He slaps the black queen right in the face. She can't do anything, okay? There's flies flying around. That horse is whipping that tail right in the face of the queen, right? The black queen. Look at it. She can't even take it. She can't take the knight because the white queen, remember, the open e-file now, folks. The queen's a pin. All right, so Shredder finds the best move, which is here. Now, the old masters, they go through a few of them here. Look at this. Look at this. After knight takes check, right? They give, let's see, wait, here we go. Blah, 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 blah. Knight takes pawn, check. King. Okay, here we go. This is the first line they give. Queen to d8, right? Now the queen's trade, okay? The queen's trade, it's check. Now, if he takes here, you lose the bishop. The bishop hangs now. And it's with check. And then you surely, there's nothing you could do. There was an interesting line. I mean, you come here, you're attacking the rook. Look, you get forked. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, now you even lose this, right? So, come on. This, we got to dummy up. There's no hope there for black at all, right? But you win the bishop, but he goes, I don't even know. I think that's it. He likes this. The knight escapes. Forget it. There's nothing there, right? Now, he can't take back with the king. That's the whole point. He takes with the knight, right? But then that leaves this. That leaves this, folks. Knight takes with check on f7. We were so focused on c7, knight fork. Look at what happens. Knight takes on f7. Now you're going to win the king rook over there, right? Look. Unbelievable, okay? All right, so he grabs this pawn. What they do, right? You develop recapture. Knight comes out. All right, what are we looking at? What are we looking at, right? We got the two, we're up the exchange, right? Is that what it is here? Both have a light square bishop. Yeah, we're up rook for knight. Look, black's got 3 pawns to white 6. I mean, all right, is he going to lose the pawn on d4? Maybe. Right? Maybe he will. Attacks him first. All right, he takes there. All right, we get our knight out. We get our knight. Okay? We attack the... All right, this is our game. I mean, come on. You got to admit, it's over for black here. All right, we got the rooks. Okay? All right, forget it. We got 5 pawns to 3. 5 pawns to 3. I'm so hungry. My stomach is turning. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's getting a little long, but these positions, folks, you got to admit, this is beautiful stuff, right? Here come the knight forks, right? There's hypothetical knight forks throughout the game. All right, now look. That we just looked at, right? We looked at when the knight, on this, if the knight goes to d8, okay? And the old masters are given this. And it says, let's see. Right, you go to d8, the queen takes, knight takes on f7, they got it checked, and knight takes rook is given by J. Lowenthal without other comments than that it is of interest, okay, of interest, white's winning, right? Now, it says here, Max Lang improves on this line for black with 13. Okay, right here. Instead of king to d8, bring the king up to d7. Okay? But still claims an advantage for white, who comes out with 4 pawns against the knight. Okay? So, let's look at this, right? I mean, if they trade queens. Okay? He goes here. He takes maybe this pawn, I believe. If he attacks the knight, you jump here with check. The king's going to move, right? Now, let's just say here, he moves there, right? And then you take, and now you got he's got, black has a knight, an extra knight, for 4 pawns. You see that? White has 7 pawns. Black has an extra knight. That's close. Now, they say a knight's worth 3 pawns. So, technically, like just material-wise, white's up a pawn, in a sense. But, you know, there's more to it than that. I mean, that extra piece in the end game, that knight could win. Maybe black will trade, and then he can win a couple of pawns. But who knows? I don't know. It's a game, folks. At this stage, the evaluation is, it's basically, they actually give it slightly in black's favor, but it's still under a pawn, you know. So I guess it values that the knight, the extra knight, a little more than the old masters did, or more than Max Lang did. Okay, because let's face it. I mean, this pawn's isolated. This pawn, you know, who knows? Maybe they could. Look at it already. Black's taking advantage of the open A file with his rook. They're attacking this guy. See that? All right. So maybe look, he piles up on D4. Right? White might just develop to give it back. Who cares? Right? So anyway, you know, it's a game, folks. That's a fight still. So there you go. Max Lang improving on this with king to D7. Okay? They trade, right? You go here, and I mean, okay, maybe Shredder likes this better. And then you're threatening to take on B5 with the bishop, right? But look at this. He comes up to protect this guy. You know, who knows? Again, it's close, similar to what we looked at. So anyway, all right. So let's go back, right? So this was an improvement. Okay, you win 4 pawns for a knight. That's where we were, right? Four pawns for a knight. He goes to check. The king comes up. Oh, that's the other thing we were talking about. If he just moves here, you take, right? Look at this. Look at this aggressive king. He comes up, right? All right. So you take your pawn. You get your extra pawn. Right? I mean, you know. That's the crucial thing. You got 4 pawns for the knight, right? But now, like, he comes right into the game, right? Where does he go from here? You know, really, look, D4 falls already. Okay, so I don't know. I mean, this is odd. Here you go. You attack, you trade. Okay, he goes after you. Okay, you get the check, right? Here's another. Look, that's the beauty of chess, folks. Here's another. Look, he wants to trade them off. He wants to trade off pieces. So he has that extra piece, the knight, and versus the pawn. Let's say they trade a knight and a rook off, and now black has 3 pawns to white 6, but he's got a knight. Look, he already won that D pawn back. And that knight alone on the board, being the only piece, if they trade down, that piece could eat up some white pawns, folks. You know, it's not like black doesn't have winning chances. He still has 3 pawns. One of them could be a queen. That knight, that piece is going to be valuable. If black could trade him off. Now, I don't know. That might be a big if he could trade him off, right? So it's a fight. And, I mean, at this point, they're giving it to black. They give the evaluation to black. The knight being, like I said, there's better winning chances here. As long as he could hold on to his own pawns, so he could get, I'm talking about black, so he could at least, you know, have a potential queen. Because if it trades all the way down, and it's a lone knight and black knight and king versus the white king and 3 pawns, well, now black has no winning chances. It would be white with the pawns who could have, you know, who could come in, have just really strange. This game is amazing. It's got so many different, I don't even avenues. So many. What's the word I'm even looking for? I don't even know. It's a beautiful game, folks. I'm really, I'm starving here is what it is. I'm so hungry. All right, there you go. We're looking a little further into it, right? There you go. Look at this. White's got aggressive moves, but here we go. Here come the trades, right? Here come the trades. All right. So there you go. There you go. You win the pawn. Look at this. They're gonna go in for it. Look, he's gonna win that one. What about this? You can't take here. I don't know. So anyway, you know, let's leave it at that. This is an interesting position. Beautiful stuff. And it's an improvement for black. Okay. According to Max Lang, but even then, like Max Lang is of the opinion that, you know, he still claims an advantage for white, who comes out with 4 pawns against the knight. Okay, but Shredder shows it's really anybody's game at that point. Okay, so now get this. But like we showed Shredder playing king to f8, and guess what? Back in the day, Morphy substitutes the 13th move, king going to f8, just like Shredder found. Morphy, got to give him credit, right? This is the best move, because now they give, okay, according to Morphy, they give, he wins the bishop, but now queen moving over to c7, and justly remarks that Morphy's actual, okay, wait, I don't want to give it away, the cat out of the bag, okay? But look at this. This is the amazing thing to it all the beautiful combinations, endgame ideas and things, right? Here's what's amazing. You got a minefield of variations and lines that you're looking at, right? And you're trying to evaluate all this tactical stuff and who's better and whatnot. So now you got to say, can you imagine these guys sitting over the board, okay, doing this? And this line that Morphy finds, okay, knight takes, queen to c7, okay, gives black an advantage that it would say it is foolish for white to go into this line. Now, all the other ones that looked playable, it's pretty good, you know, but this line for black destroys it, and it's all black needs is one line. And if he finds it, you're toast as white. You could go into all those pretty variations that you see when you're analyzing it over the board. Oh, look at this, that, knight forks, all this and that. But black, your opponent's got to play into the traps, right? Now, that's not forced. Here, look at this, king to f8. You got to evaluate it. You got to see, what if black goes to f8, though? What do I do then? And if you grab the bishop, right, and then he slides over here, and now you're trying to figure out, well, wait a minute now. All right, let's look at what Shredder finds, because they don't go any further than that. Queen to c7, right? And it says, and justly remarks. Okay, wait, we'll get into that. Cat, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. All right, he wants to trade, right? But he gets his piece back over here, right? So now, all right, he wins this b pawn, okay? All right, the knight develops. All right, the bishop comes out. All right, is that the best move? All right, yes, well, I don't know. All right, develop the piece. He hits this guy. All right, you give the check. He blocks. Okay, you castle. You get castled. All right, let's look at this now, right? All right, he wants a tempo on the queen. Fine. All right, queen comes back or goes up here. All right, now look. What do we got, right? We got an awkward black king. He can't castle, and so this guy is he's gonna take a while to get in the game. He's gonna maybe play, yeah. But white, you got to look at the bishop. White has a light square bishop, so this is the one I would think you'd want to move, because the bishop's on light squares. You don't, you know, you make your dark squares weak, but white doesn't have a dark square bishop, right? So then you're gonna bring your king. You're gonna bring your king to g7, and you get your king rook in the game, right? Castle by hand. Okay. Matter of fact, is that the move that Shredder likes? Because I'm just throwing it in as your strategic outlook, right? You got to castle by hand. You got to get your king rook in the game. Is all I'm trying to point out there, right? So you move the g pawn, get the king to g7, okay, and then slide your rook on h8 into the game, right? Now, okay. He's got to take a few moves to do that, so white's going to develop. Maybe he'll take control of the e-file. He's down a minor piece, though. Black's got the two knights. White only has a bishop, right? But white has 6 pawns to black's 4. So you add it all up, this whole rigmarole, and what do you got, right? You got an awkward black king position. Okay, matter of time. He's going to castle by hand. He's got to get his awkward rook. Matter of time. Time ticks by, folks. It's not as concrete as material, all right? So what could white muster up in that time? Who knows? That's the question. But black has an extra piece for those 2 pawns, right? So this puts white in a very, I don't know, precarious, is that the right word? It's questionable if he has enough here, all right? His king is safe, he's castled, he's got the extra 2 pawns, but that's for a knight. So black has the extra minor piece for the 2 pawns, right? I know, how many ways can I say it? The point is it worth it? I don't know. And look at the evaluation. Shredder now evaluates that black has a 1.63 edge. All right? Who knows? It's crazy. You got to fight the game out, right? You got to fight it out. But think of this. You're going through a minefield of lines, folks, right? They're beautiful, too. They're so tempting. I mean, come on. Look, we're going back. This is what we're looking at, folks. A6, right? Oh, I could pull my knight back, but look at this crazy move. D6, right? It throws a monkey wrench in it. You throw the knight up here now, right? So now you can take on D6, right? This pawn sacrifice right here is to allow the knights to leap to D6, right? All the beautiful tactics that are involved now. You leave your B5 knight hanging over there. This is beautiful stuff. Oh, look, and then he takes, but look at my shot right here. Right? Again, the hoof slap in the face of the black queen right there. You check, right? Who can't love this? Now, the king's got 3 squares here, here, and here, right? And you got to evaluate all of them. You're looking at this one, beautiful stuff for white. You're looking at this one, beautiful stuff for white. I love it, I love it. Then you look at this one. Oh, no, wait a minute. And then you got to say, but I love all those. Oh, if he plays into my traps and the other, he steps over here or over here. Oh, I'm so tempted to do it. I should do it. Now, you got to evaluate that, not at these moves here, not at this. It's too late. You got to evaluate it right here, folks. When he hits that knight right there, you got to start thinking about all these questions now. You can't push D6 and then this and that and then go, wait a minute, maybe I got to pull back here. No, you got to evaluate it. Is it worth it? Right here when he hits you. You got to look at it all from this point, okay? And look at the temptation, like we said, right? Oh, look at this. He takes that guy, but I got this check, and now I'm grabbing pawns, and I'm going to have 4 pawns for the night. Maybe not, maybe just 3, but I get this, I get that. Well, look at this. He could blunder into another fork of the rook. Oh, forget it. Rook and king. Oh, this is beautiful stuff. I'm crazy enough to do it. But if he goes here, you lose, right? You lose, or it's precarious. Was that the stupid word I used? Remember it, folks. This brings up that precarious position where black has the knight for 2 pawns, and black could castle by hand, and he could get right back in this game, and next thing you know, win a pawn or 2. Now I'm down a knight, and I'm busted. You understand? So, this is what we're getting into. Bring it, rewind the videotape, folks. Here we go, right? For those of you who don't even know what a videotape is, right? Here it is, A6. All right, you got all those questions. You're looking at those lines. You're over the board. You don't have a computer like us, right? What does the great Morphy do, folks? What does he do? Look at Trotter. Knight C3. Folks, I'm about to cry. Look at his move. Morphy plays it. Knight C3. Do you understand the beauty of this game, folks? Look at Morphy. Unbelievable. After all that temptation and all. The strongest move, Morphy. It's his middle name. Strongest move, Morphy. Look at this. Right here, they go into it. And it says, I'm letting the cat out of the bag, folks. Here it is. Right? After the other line. After the line's looking with the king going F8, right? And it says here, Maraxi substitute. King to F8. Okay, knight takes bishop, queen to c7. We were looking at it. Oh, I erased it. All right, look. Okay, here we go. We're just to be thorough, folks. To be thorough, here it is. He takes there, you take there. King here, you take the bishop, and he slides there. And now it's questionable for white, right? He may lose this game now. So it says, Morphy looked at this. He finds king f8. Knight takes bishop, queen to c7 right here, and he says, and justly remarks, that Morphy's actual knight to c3, I'm shedding it here, folks. Look at this. Knight to c3 is both the most natural and the strongest move. I can't emphasize it. You gotta love this guy, poor Morphy. He doesn't have Fritz or Shredder or whatever the heck stockfish in his back pocket. Look at this. He finds his strongest move. The temptation of chess. You know us out there as tacticians. We love those combinations. And that those positions were tempting us right there. But they lose. King f8 would lose. White you would end up losing the game, folks. And that's what it's about. The artistry is one thing, but this is a competitive sport, folks. We're trying to win the game. That's what it's about, right? Now, he pulls the knight back. Unbelievable. I can't believe with the temptations of tactics and combinations and open board and your pieces flying out and your forking and everything, right? The temptation was there, but the man makes the strongest move. And here it is, folks, the strongest move. Knight to c3. Shredder agrees. And here we go. What do we got coming up now? What happens? Okay. All right, so now the knight coming back. Look at this now. Augustus trying to hang on to that pawn on e4. Look at it. You got two knights and a queen. Again, folks, the development. Two knights and a queen to black's queen alone. They're trying to hang on to e4. We can't drop e4. The game, it's a slow death, folks. It's a death squeeze, like a python, right? You're just down. Your central pawn control is just totally gone, right? You got to hang on. So he tries to play the pawn up, f5, to hang on to that e-pawn, right? All right, now, Morphy, castling, developing another move. Right now, that rook's going to get in the game. Okay, here comes the knight. He's trying to, develop pieces. He's got a castle, folks, all right? The black king could castle at this point. He hasn't moved. I know we looked at so much stuff, but he hasn't moved yet. He's going to try to castle to get the safety, right? All right, but look at Morphy. Look at Morphy now. After the knight coming out, good move. He wants to get the king castle. Knight f6, good move. But now you got rook. Rook over to the e-file, folks, right? All right. Augustus, look at it. He jumps into safety. He's got to get that king to safety, right? But now look at what rook e1, Morphy's last move. Now he's attacking the center with f3. He's going to rip it open. He's got the lead in development, folks. You got to rip the game apart. You got to open the lines. He's attacking that center pawn, right? Now, obviously, if he takes, folks, what are you looking at? You can't hang it. I mean, this is what it's about, right? This is why rook over, and you're playing the pawn up. You're attacking the center, right? Okay. So now, where are we? Rook there, he castles. All right, f3, attacking the center. Look at this now. Over here, you got on the other side of the board, you got Mongredien trying to play b5, attacking over here, attacking the center. He's striking, Morphy's striking at the center. Augustus is striking at the center over, with the b pawn over here on the wing, and trying to get the light square bishop developed, folks. Maybe the b7, okay? This is what he's looking at. Aiming again at the center, trying to team up with the knight on f6, maybe bishop b7. You're attacking the d5 pawn, right? And this guy has to be undermined to weaken this guy. So this is b5 is what it's about, right? All right, there you go. Little notes on what b5 is about. All right, so there you go, b5. Now, Morphy takes here, okay? Augustus takes back, okay? And now you got queen knight taking the pawn, okay? Now, queen knight, which one was the queen knight? Remember, folks, this guy, remember he recaptured, bishop takes, bishop check. This guy He leaped all the way around the board to B5, and he settled back on C3. The most brings tears to my eyes. I can't get over it. I'm crazy about this game. You gotta love that. Knight C3, the move that isn't aggressive, right? The retreat is the beautiful move in the whole game. The retreat, folks. How many games can you say that when you retreated? The best move of the game, right? All right. So anyway, that knight came back to C3. I love it. All right. So now, all right. So they're on the E3, the E4 pawn. Wait a minute. I can't even get it out. The E4 pawn, right? So Morphy takes with the queen knight. Remember, this is the queen knight. There he goes. He takes. There it is. Look at that, right? He takes. All right. Now watch this. So now you got Mongredian staying with his idea. Pawn takes on C4, right? Now he's going to play bishop B7. And you see this guy here. You got the knight attacking it, right? So he's trying, folks. He's trying his best. Here you go. Queen recaptures. But now look at that. Look at this threat. Okay, now you got the queen on C4. Would it? Let's just say, right? Autopilot. Bishop B7, right? But look, you got it discovered. Check. Pawn to D6, attacking the queen, unleashing the white queen on the black king, right? Now, if he just moves, so you lose the queen, right? So you can't. You got to at least block. You save your queen, right? But look at what this does now. You're blocking. You can't block anywhere else. Okay, you can't, folks. If you just go there, I mean, you just take it, right? All right. So, so he's blocking here. He blocks here, right? Now look at what that does. It blocks the F8 rook. So you're gonna just take this guy with check. The queen can't take. It's pinned. All right, it's check move. You got to take. You don't want to be down a piece like this, right? Now you take back with the pawn. Now look at what happens. The rook slides on down, attacking the queen, which is pinned to the black king. So she takes. That's all you can do. Take. Then you take back. Develop the piece. Check. This is all forced, folks. Now he's got no really. Where's he going? Look, he goes over here. Only move. Now, beautiful, beautiful. Look at this. This move keeps the black knight from developing, right? It takes away this square. Where's it going to go, right? All right, look, he takes here, and then you take the bishop, right? Because what's coming, there's really no. What's coming is either pawn takes on C7 or pawn at D7. Not sure, right? All right, he moves this one. All right, there you go. You're going to take. All right, you're hitting the knight, right? And you say to yourself, well, what does that do if the knight, you can't develop here, you lose. You go in there. Well, now look at these pawns, folks. Look at these pawns. They're marching right in. Forget about it. Oh, forget about it. This is over for black. It's all. Look, he'd sack it. The computer don't even know what to do. Shredder doesn't even know what to do at this point. Sack the knight on C7. Look at this. He decides to bring it here. Right? Unbelievable. He just gives the piece away. Okay, why? Well, let's look at why. Let's see. What can he do? Let's say if he goes with this idea. You take, well, now you got the two rooks are going to double up. Right? If you save this guy, I don't know, let's just say he goes here, right? I mean, what? I guess you threaten mate. You threaten mate on here. Rook takes, H7 is going to be mate. Right? So what could he do? You can't do anything. Just keep blocking. Matter of fact, why not block first? Why give the rook? Well, here comes the other one. Right? Now it's all over. I mean, what else can we say, folks? We got two connected pass pawns in the 6th and 7th rank. Right? So I mean, okay. So now you can't let this occur, right? I mean, forget it. It's all over for. After D5 here, what do you got? Black's got nothing. He's totally toast. Yeah, this is his favorite move there. You take, right? Now what does he do? He tries to save this guy. I don't know. Right? All right, so it's enough. Look, we're up. I mean, we got a bishop, a knight, two rooks each, but look at our pawns, folks, right? You got to admit, you take this in a heartbeat for an easy win. Almost plus 10. It's 9.99. How it figures that out, I don't know. But look, we're winning there, okay? So there's the beauty this is what's being threatened. Now, we just threw in bishop b7. We jumped the gun to show you this threat. b6, check, right? Queen coming over, and there you go. Knight takes. And then the rook comes right down the open e-file. All right? And when he takes the queen, you recapture with check, and you get d5, and he can't even take. What if he takes here? What's the C? Yeah, you lose the bishop. I think that's what it played before. All right, so there you go, right? All right, so no bishop b7 for after queen takes. You can understand Augustus moves his king out of the firing line, right? All right, so he moves over, and now you got bishop to d3. Develop that piece. Come on, get him out. You got to get the king rook in the game now too, right? So here we go. Here comes, look. Here comes bishop to b7, folks. There it is, bishop b7. All right. All right, bishop b7. All right, so this sets up the combination. All right, let's talk about the anatomy of a combination. Okay, folks, let's see the characteristics. What will be black's downfall? Okay, well, a la Morphy development, folks. The development, look at the control of the white pieces, right? They're in the center of the board. They're controlling. You got this knight. Yes, the knight can move here, unleashing the rook on e1, attacking the black queen and all. You got this guy's about to leap in. Look, he's going to take control of these two open files. Basically, all of the white soldiers, right, when this guy slips in, it's basically, they're all in the fight, okay? You got the rook over here for black, right? Let's just make a move real quick. You got the rook over here for black. You got the knight, right? Not developed, okay? Not developed. Watch how this plays out, okay? So after bishop b7, like we said, what does Morphy do? All right. So let's see. What was that move to? It was move 18. We got move 19. Well, knight takes knight, right? Unleashing the rook down here. So he's not going to take back like this, folks. We got a dummy up, right? The jokes are still coming, the one-liners. But here we go. All right, so he's got to take back. He takes back with the queen. He gets out of the firing line. But look at this. Now, Morphy swinging the other rook into play with tempo, right? Attacking the black queen. Now, luckily, okay, remember the bishop d3 here, because if he wants to get two rooks to the queen, it doesn't work, because the bishop follows through, and you pick up queen and rook for the two rooks, right? Obviously, okay. So again, it's easy to see, easy enough to see. So, what does Mongredian do, right? Now, you could do like Shredder and give the check, okay? King over, right? And then you develop your knight. But you see after this, queen comes right down, forking. He wins the pawn, and he's forking these two. And there's really nothing black can do. If he goes here to protect. One piece protects the other. But then you take here, right? He comes back, recaptures. You attack the rook in the corner, I guess, right? And if he moves here, if he moves this, for instance, right? Yeah, okay, there you go. You could fork both of them. See that? You're forking the rook and the knight on f8, right? And even after this, big deal, you win. There, he takes here. And it's a check move, so you got to move. But you're up, right? You're up. Your knight is pinned. Knight's in trouble. Okay, so, clearly white's winning. And if he goes over here, right? I guess, okay, you fork the bishop and knight again with the queen, both of them. All right, he protects the knight. Look at that. You don't even take the bishop yet. You just set him up. Look, what could he do now? What can he do now if he moves? Goodbye. Game over, right? Or even the rook coming down. Game over. Checkmate, right? Okay. So basically, at this point, right here, I'll show you. After the rook comes into play with tempo, that was Morphy's last move. A check, right here, maybe here. It doesn't matter. Okay, if he develops, if he develops a knight, the queen takes on c7, forking, okay? And the only difference of what we looked at was the black queen was here, gave the check on g5. So now, I mean, you go here, either you just lost. You lose the bishop, right? If he tries this again, you take, knight takes back, you attack the rook. Oh, and now he's got the queen over here, opposed to being on g5, right? See that? Right here, you give the check, but now he's got the queen in the last line was over here. So let's say he trades, right? You take back, you're getting ready to bring your rook down and pin that knight. So if he moves the bishop here, can't go there, or can you? I guess you hit it with your pawns. The pawns are coming down. That's the point, folks. The pawns are coming down, right? And you got the D and C pawns. Forget about it. Look at this. All right, he comes down there. Right? What's he do? It's a matter of time. Then you take him out, right? Here comes and you know the knight's gonna help out now, right? You don't even need him, I guess. Look. Right? If he takes this one, you go in. Right? So he gives up the bishop for it. Forget about it. Look at this. You could trap the king. If you play this, then the king can't come out because the knight covers g5, the pawn would cover g4, and the knight covers g3. He's entombed, right? But I guess he'll play g5. Right, there you go. He'll play g5 to be allowed to get out. Right, so okay. Just a thought. So you take here first. You would have to come up and attack. There you go. And you're going after the okay. You're gonna support that the rook moves, right? Wherever it wants to go. Okay, and you could simply even this is the better move, but even now you put the queen there, right? He takes, you take. All right, he wins your rook, right? But you got the knight. You're still up. You're still up. You get it? I mean, so okay, this is the more accurate move, right? You save your rook. Oh, you're gonna put it here and put it there, and then you're gonna queen, right? You're threatening. Look at this. Look. All right, he's got to take, and you know, then you get your queen. A little technique there. That's all we're showing. But this is clearly one for white. Black's busted. Okay. So, there you go with the checks. Okay. That's after Morphy's rook to f1. That would be the checks. Okay. Does nothing. Okay. White still comes out. Let's show what Augustus played. He goes back because if you notice, luckily these are check moves. Because if he just moves, he loses the game outright with a back rank mate. Okay? So, he has to, if he's not going to give these checks, he's got to go back to defend. And he can't go here because the other rook on e1. So he has to only square to help out this rook and defend is queen to d8. Okay? But now look at what happens, folks. Look at what happens. Rook takes rook, right? Queen takes. And now Morphy with queen to b4. And the game is over. Why? Because, and just to make sure I got that right? He plays there. The queen goes back to d8. Rook takes rook check. Queen takes rook. Queen to b4 and wins. All right. Why? Do you see it? The bishop, remember, this guy's undefended, folks, right? Well, you say, well, that's crazy. Look, queen takes queen. But then you got the back rank weakness still. Back rank mate. Queen goes back to block, and it's over. Rook delivers mate, right? And if he doesn't, I mean, what could he do? He comes out with a check now, king over, little in-between move. Doesn't matter, because we're threatening two things. We're threatening rook down mate, right? Rook down check. Queen goes to f8 to block, and then it's mate, next move. And this guy's still hanging. And if he tries to, he can't protect. He can't save the piece and protect e8 because you just take it, right? I mean, he wants to go here. I guess we're going to threaten the back rank anyway now. So you win the queen that way. Just another way to win, right? And then you could take here. Because with the knight blocking the rook, queen f8 is threatened mate. So he can't even save this guy. That's so sad. He can't even save him. Because if he tries to do something, he comes right in on the dark square. See, mate on f8. All right, so he'd have to, bring this here, and then you win him anyway. All right, and there you go. It's game over. So let's show it in instant replay, right? Just so you see, I'm not making this up. Look, bishop develops to b7. Knight takes knight. Queen is attacked by the rook down here. You got every take back. Here comes the king rook into the game, right? The checks do nothing. We looked at it. He slides back to protect this guy. It's the only chance he has. Only square, queen at d8. You trade on f8, right? And now, again, queen to b4, attacking the undefended bishop. And, right? And for instance, if he moves the bishop, he wins the queen, right? With attack, it's a double attack. And like we showed, if the queen takes the queen, the black queen captures, then we come down with the rook, and it's mate. So there's nothing black can do. He's totally busted. And all brought to you by the speedy development, the lead-in development, the central control that Morphy possessed. And it's quite an amazing game. Queen here. Remember the tactic of pushing the d-pawn. He gets out of the firing line. Develop the other piece. Getting ready to bring your rook in the game. Magrinian obviously wants to put the bishop. Develop. He's been thinking about it, right? Doubling on this guy, putting some pressure on the center. But it's too late. After the trade, rook over, queen over. Boom. Boom, boom. Right? And there it is. Now let's say he goes, wait a minute, here's the move. You save the queen from being taken by the white queen. You protect your bishop, right? But it's not protected, folks. Because when he takes, what happens? When he recaptures, he leaves the back rank. And it's mate. Again, the knight on b8. Essentially, when it comes down to it, he's a move behind. A move or two. He's a move behind. That knight is on the back rank still, on b8, never moved, and he's blocking out his rook, which could protect that back rank. So there it is. That's the anatomy of the combination, folks. This is a la Morphy. I mean, this is like I started to say in the beginning, it's a beautiful game. This is a good one. I know I say it often. But hey, we're talking Morphy, Most of his games are good ones. You learn a lot from going over this stuff, from going over his games, And I hope you learned a thing or two here, a couple of tricks. The beautiful c3 move where Morphy retreats. Just because of the temptation, folks, of what d6 and then the other knight taking on e4, what that could bring about. Beautiful combinations and things, but after this move, king to f8, it kind of leaves white, in a pickle, because he doesn't really get enough. All right, so there you go, folks. There you go. We looked at it. Game 65 in the books. All right. Beautiful stuff, huh? Well, we'll see. There's plenty more where this came from, folks. We're only scratching the surface. Game 65. We got to get to 300. Can you believe this? But I'm crazy enough to do it. All right. Well, we'll see you next game.